Coach Pryor here with a coach's classroom, and we're getting ready to talk now about the hitting and in particularly the grip. We went over some of the mechanics and some of the tips, and we're going to dive into those tips in greater detail right now. So let's take a look at the grip. We want to hold the bat firmly in the hands, and we want to have the bat held into the fingers with the middle knuckles lined up straight. So what that means is we want to take the bat into our fingers, right here, lay into our fingers, close the grip, and we're going to have the middle knuckles. If we zoom in, you'll see the middle knuckles right here going to line up right there. Now what we've done a lot of times with the kids is we'll actually take a marker and just kind of draw a line, so when they get up to bat, when we're doing drill work, we don't have to keep saying line your knuckles up, line your knuckles up. They know that they got to put the lines together and the knuckles will be lined up. Sometimes we just tell them to point, and if their fingers are pointing straight ahead, they know they're in the right direction. If they're not lined up, they're going to be like this. So we got the crossroads, we got to bring the roads moving the same direction. Now our knuckles are lined up together right there. Okay? So middle knuckles lined up, the bat and the fingers. What a lot of kids will do with their hands is they'll have the bat back into the palm and then they'll close, and they're going to really get the thing more like a club, kind of caveman days, and try to caveman it, and we can't get a lot of our wrists and our forearm power through the ball. So we want to really get in the fingers, so we got really good mobility and flexion with our wrists, and that we can really get our forearms in and through the ball when we're swinging. So very important. This is a basic tip that we need the kids to be able to get their knuckles lined up and get the bat in the fingers. And you're gonna say it 1,000 times. Line your knuckles up, knocking knuckles, just like knocking on a door. We tell them knocking knuckles. You knock, knock, knock. We're knocking with those knuckles. We want the knocking knuckles lined up on the bat. Knocking knuckles. So very important. If we can get kids at a young age to start getting this concept, it's going to really help them as they go to the upper levels. All right, so that's our grip. As far as grip with the bat, the other part to that is we want the bottom hand to be firm and the top hand to be relaxed. So when we're holding this bat, we just want it to be enough to keep the bat up. When we get ready to go, we're going to grab that bat. We see a lot of kids at all levels, high school, I see it in college, I see it in Little League, T-ball. They're out there, they're just squeezing this bat. They got white knuckles, the arms, the veins are popping out. I mean, they look like they're turning into the Hulk right up there to hit. Now, you can't hit like that, all right? You don't see a boxer tensed up and then try to swing, all right? They're nice and relaxed, and then they go, all right? So same thing when we're hitting. We want to have a firm grip, enough to keep the bat up, and nice and light on the top hand. And when we get ready to go, we're going to grab that bat when we go. We're going to fire, okay? Very, very important. The more relaxed you can maintain, the quicker you're going to actually be. You're going to grab that bat when you go. Okay, our hands are held at chest high, just to the top of the strike zone, kind of just off the shoulder, and the hands about 3 to 6 inches away from the body. And we want the bat approximately straight up and down to a 45 degree with the knob of the bat pointed to the catcher's glove. So what do we mean by that? Okay, so we want to be able to have the bat, when we talk about the baseball notch, it's right in here. There's a little indentation right here. We'll have the kids take their thumb, stick it up, find that notch, and then bring the bat straight up. Okay, and right there, they're in a baseball stance. Now we'll always say, hey, feel that notch? Does everybody feel that? And all the kids will go, yeah, I feel that, coach, I feel it. Go, great, it's a baseball notch. That means you're supposed to be a baseball player. It's just a little bit of fun, but you can use that little cueing if you like. Kids think it's pretty cool. Like, hey, Mom, I got a baseball notch. I'm a baseball player. All right, so we're going to have the bat just off of our shoulder. We're going to have the hands in direct proportion, 3 to 6 inches away from our shoulder, right off the shoulder. And we don't want the hands back. We don't want them here. We don't want the knob here. We want the knob pointing right down to the catcher's glove, right off the shoulder, and want the bat at a 45 to a 90 degree, anywhere, any range where they feel comfortable. What we don't want is this. We don't want it up here. We don't want it back here. We don't want it low. We don't want it down here. We want it right off the shoulder so that we're creating a little bit of a box right in here, which we'll talk about in our set position. And then lastly, just having the knob of the bat pointing down to the catcher's glove. So if I'm set up here and I'm getting ready in my stance, this is kind of what it'll look like. I'm going to be right here. My knob is pointing right down the catcher's glove. Okay? My bat's at a 45 to 90 degrees. Okay? Now, one of the things that you can do with kids, let me just grab my sledgehammer here real quick. Just remembered I had this. here. Okay, this is an 8-pound sledgehammer. Okay. Now, you get a kid and say, hey, hold this back here, okay, and put your grip together and try to hold it. I mean, I'm holding it, but it's hard. I mean, I'm fighting it. Okay. Okay. Now, if I throw this thing up 90 degrees and I hold it up here, I can balance that and hold that a whole lot longer. Okay. It's a lot easier, and you can even do this with little kids that go, wow, that's easy. I can balance that right there. But then as soon as I start bringing that back, oh, God, mercy me, okay? It gets a lot harder. So what that does is it talks about leverage points. So even with a bat, you know, we take this wood bat 33 right here, you know, I still got some weight right here. Even the kid's little bat, they've got some weight. And they got to be able to manage that weight, okay? And manage it and hold it up and be able to get it to the contact point quickly. So even though it's, you know, the weight's appropriate for them, it's still a piece of lumber, it's still a piece of metal that they've got to swing quickly to get to the contact point. So use the sledgehammer as an opportunity to demonstrate a leverage point and why it's so important to have our bat at a 90 to a 45 with the knob pointing down to the catcher's glove. So a quick recap just on the grip. Hands are nice and relaxed, firmly gripped, firm on the bottom, relaxed on the top, stay nice and relaxed. Bat's in the fingers, middle knuckles are lined up. We want the bat held chest high right off the back shoulder. Want the knob pointing down to the catcher, hands in line with the back knee, and just kind of a little bit off the body to that baseball notch right here. Get into that baseball notch and then just bring it right up. And we're going to practice that. It's very important that the kids learn to get the grip all by themselves. It's their responsibility to start working on that, and if they can get up to the plate and do drill work and do batting practicing and playing the game with a good grip, getting into a good set position and stance, they're going to be miles ahead of a lot of their peer group just by being able to accomplish that. This is Hitting with the Grip. Coach Pryor right here in the coach's classroom.